What's up, friends and family? I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these crazy times. If you're anything like me, you're probably quarantined at home right now, not a lot to do. So I was hoping I could give you something to do, and something I've been hoping to do with you guys for quite a while. Now I have the time to do it. That is a painting lesson. We're gonna be jumping in, doing a painting together, something that we can all do for all ages, whoever wants to jump in and do this. Supplies we're gonna be using, super simple and affordable. So you can just like order what you want on Amazon, paint with me. And in the end, I hope you guys can have something that you would be proud to hang up on your wall. So we'll jump right into this. Let's go. So here are the materials that we're going to be using today for our painting. Up first, we've got an 8" by 10" canvas panel. This is pretty sturdy, and it's gonna give us a great surface to paint on. Any size that you want, any size you have, this will work regardless of the size of this. But this is what we'll be painting on, and this is what we'll be painting with. We've got just an assortment of brushes here. I've got 5 that I'll be using, kind of a big one, medium one, and 3 smaller ones. Like, it doesn't really matter. You could get just whatever cheap brushes you can find. They're gonna work just great. This is my palette that I will be painting with. And this is just an old recycled picture frame, but you guys at home should probably just use a paper plate or a foam plate, whatever you have around that's gonna work, that you don't mind tossing. When you're done, now we've got paint here. This is acrylic paint, and we're only gonna be using 4 colors for the first day here. We've got titanium white, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and burnt umber. And I've got them sitting on this damp paper towel just to kind of help keep them wet, because acrylic paint like this will dry out very quickly. That is why I've also got this spray bottle full of water, so I can kind of spritz it down every once in a while on my palette. Now, I've also got the all necessary, all important cup of tea. Lovely. And I've got a container full of clean water, just as long as it's in a container that you don't mind getting all dirty. All right, so let's talk about what we're gonna be painting today. Wow, my hands are really dirty already. I haven't even started. So I get inspired by books a lot. And this one is one of my favorites, and I saw this one in here by Robert Bateman. Just an awesome painter. And oh yeah, here it is. So this is a painting that he did of a spotted owl, and I just love these colors, and we're going to be using some of these colors. And then also, this is a painting that I did a couple years ago of a barred owl, very similar to the spotted owl. I saw this one at the Teton Raptor Center in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Right before I did this painting, it was inspired by that. So we're going to be doing a barred owl in this kind of same style, this kind of portrait, very modern look, with kind of these colors and these colors. And while I was at the Teton Raptor Center, I got this shot of a barred owl. This one really gave me a good idea for some structure, so we're going to be using this pose for the barred owl that we'll be painting, and we'll be using the colors from those other pictures in the painting. So the first thing that we're going to do is kind of get to work on sketching this owl out on our canvas. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing when I'm painting this owl is I'm going to be working with a nice wet brush here. Just kind of dip it in the water, get it nice and damp, and then we'll wipe the excess off on our paper towel over here. Now I'm going to be using the burnt sienna to be doing my sketch, so I'll take some of this. You can kind of see how I mix it off to the side over here, and just kind of get it all in the paintbrush and the bristles. We don't want to like load it all the way up to where it meets the metal, but like just enough right there on the tip. Mix it in. Maybe you want a little bit of water, more water, and we're gonna do our sketch with this nice burnt sienna color. So here we go. First strokes, a lot of pressure. Not really. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with just kind of a nice circle shape, and this is pretty general. Yeah, so kind of just make a circle about right there. And you know what, as I'm looking at this, I kind of want it over here a little bit more. So it's okay. We just move their circle over. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Simple. Done. Circle. Check. Okay. Now, this is going to be the head of our owl, of our barred owl. So I'm just going to kind of draw a line right through the middle of it, and that's going to help me keep it more symmetrical. Okay. So that's good. I'm going to load up my brush again, and we can tell that this owl's kind of sitting at an angle like this. His head is straight, and then his body kind of angles down from him. So from right here, I'm just going to make a nice line like this, kind of help give me a picture of where he's going over here. So this is just as a reference so I can see the angle of his body. Okay. So now I'm going to take and make kind of like an oval shape, starting right there. We're going to make this oval go like this. Okay. Okay. And the oval is going to go off the page. So I didn't get that too symmetrical. That's okay. But you get the idea. You get the idea. We got these two kind of coffee beans to start off our owl. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to add some water to my paint and my brush and just kind of scrub it in and just fill these two shapes in with this burnt sienna. Okay. And we're going to start off basically by making a silhouette of our owl so we can make our background around him. So you guys know what a silhouette is, right? Yeah. So it's kind of when something stands up against the light and it just looks black. Well, instead of a black silhouette, we are making a burnt sienna silhouette. You can see how much water I've mixed into this. I'm basically just staining the canvas. All right, here we go. Keep it moving, keep it moving. All right, so there we go. So we've got our circle and our oval here. And let's see. Let's look back. I'm gonna look back at my reference picture, and I see that his neck kind of comes out thick right here. So we're just gonna connect that, just like that. Fill it in, fill it in. Okay. Awesome. Ooh, that looks good. I might even just like make it nice and smooth right there, like that. And he has this kind of belly over here. Okay. Now, this part of his head is going to get wider and then kind of blend like that because he's got a nice, like, smooth body. I might make this a little more. And he's got a feather right there and then a feather like that. So see how we just made this kind of owl silhouette? That's all we're looking for to start this off, okay? Now, that is where our owl is gonna go. We've got that all done. All right, so I might raise this up a little more. I'm just tweaking it. All right, stop messing with it. We're going to do our background next. So let me scoot this over, bring in our palette here, and basically I just wanted the background to be this nice, like, kind of neutral tone. So I'm getting some white here. And I still have that burnt sienna in there, so you can see what happens when I mix the burnt sienna and the white. Get this kind of peachy color, but that's a pretty warm color. So I'm gonna add some of this ultramarine blue, kind of make it cooler. There we go. And then a little bit of the brown. So whenever you mix together this ultramarine blue and this burnt umber, if you don't have any white in it, it's gonna turn it like black. That's basically black. And later on, that's what we'll be using for black. I don't ever use black paint out of a tube. And I could go into that, but basically this is as dark as you'll need, okay? So I'm just kind of mixing up the white here with that burnt umber and ultramarine blue. I'm trying to get just a nice, like, kind of a neutral tone. You guys know what neutral means? Neutral means like it's not really, I don't know, it just means like meh. It's easiest way to say it. It's a meh color. So what's gonna happen now is if we have kind of a meh color in the background, our owl's gonna look like fire, okay? It's gonna stand out really well, okay? So kind of see how I'm mixing this up on my palette, kind of squeezing the paint off the edges as I go. And I might need to get more of this, but let me dip it in the water. You can kind of mix in some water to extend out the paint. It's gonna just be a little runnier, spread better for you. All right, enough of that. Let's paint the background. So we're gonna take this color and just kind of fill it in all around this. Okay? See how I'm doing this? Basically, you can get globs of paint right on there and then blend them all. Okay? And just kind of make your brush strokes go this way and that way, kind of cross them back and forth. There we go. All right. Looking good, looking good. All right. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I got to mix up a little more of my color. There we go. And again, this doesn't have to be all precise. This is pretty, we're just kind of going for it. We're just filling in this background. We just want it kind of a nice flat color. Something that's going to make sure that our owl pops out really well. All right, keep it moving here. I'm gonna add a little bit of water in here, and that's just gonna make my paint spread just way more fluidly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. We did it. Now, our owl here, we've drawn him so that his feet would be like down here off the canvas and his tail would kind of come off the edge. So this is kind of more like a portrait shot, just like, you know, if you're painting a person, they wouldn't always have their whole body in the picture. So he has gone off the canvas there, but that's gonna give us a really good starting. Okay, so we've got it. That background is ready to go. Now I'm gonna take my brush, just wash it around in the water here and then scrape it off, and then take my paper towel, wrap it in here and very gently kind of squeeze it, wiggle it back and forth. I don't want to pull the hairs or try to like pull them out. I'm just kind of compressing it, wiggling it back and forth, getting any excess paint out. So the next thing we're going to do is start adding in the details of our owl. I'm going to be using a smaller brush here, not too small. So, and we're going to be adding in these details with a nice dark color so we can see them up against this. So remember how I said earlier that Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber are going to give us like nearly black? I'm going to prove it right now. So get my blue, even got a little bit of white in it, you won't even notice. And then I'm going to grab some of this Burnt Umber, smash it down right next to it, start mixing it up, and man, that is one dark color. That is a dark one right there, okay? So this is what we're gonna use to be drawing in the details of the face and all this, just kind of those other feathers and all the elements of our owl, okay? So, let me get this in, make sure there's plenty of water mixed in with that so that it flows nice and easy. So, let's start by, I painted that line in the middle earlier, but I'm gonna have to do that again. So I'm gonna start about right here, just kind of like make a nice little line. And this one's just gonna be nice and light. That's just for reference, okay? So the barred owl has two dark spots that make kind of like these half circles around his face. So I'm gonna start right here, and it's gonna come up and curl, and then come down to like about there, okay? There we go. And it's a little thicker at the top, and it gets thin down here, okay? right there. If you mess up, don't worry. You can quickly, even like if let's say I painted something like right there, I'm like, oh, I don't want that. I can take my thumb and just kind of rub it. If I act really quickly, see, I even took out this other line. And so, yeah. Now, let's do the same thing on the other side. Doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but you can kind of see. Yeah, right there. Yeah, it's not perfect. Doesn't have to be. Just kind of these two half circle shapes. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Fantastic. Now, they do have a dark line that goes right here. That's a little thicker. It goes right down to like there. Okay? Now, once it gets to the bottom of this, we're going to make a little bit of this, of a mountain right here, like that. So it'll split off that way. And this is where his feathers kind of part apart, and then the beak kind of peeks out from underneath. So I'm gonna draw his beak, and it just pokes out like this. So see how we're making this face pretty symmetrical? See how there's kind of this line of symmetry throughout the whole thing, and it's gonna look awesome. So whatever you do to one side, kind of try and do on the other side, just like you did. So now, the nook of his eye, or the inside of his eye, right here is gonna be, give it a little bit of a space between this and the edge. So we're gonna have right about there, and right about there. All right, so this is where we're gonna have his eye. So draw a dot there, and a dot there, and then we're gonna do it. See this distance right here that's in between our middle line and that? Make about a little bit more than that between this edge and your next dot. So we're gonna have another dot over here. There, so see how that gap's a little bit more than that gap? We're gonna do the same thing over here. Okay? So that's where our eyes are going to go. They're gonna go like this. I'm just gonna connect them. See this? Okay? And I'm gonna actually, as I do this, I'm wanting to adjust it. So see how I can just blend that out? I can just kind of take my finger. That's why my fingers are all messy all the time. I'm gonna have the corner up higher. This outside corner higher. Okay? So once you've got a good shape there, just fill it in. Okay? And I'm gonna, see how I said I was gonna move that one higher? I'm gonna move it higher. Right there. Okay? So he's got kind of these slanted, almond-shaped eyes. Okay. Now, I'm not doing a great job of making it symmetrical, but at this point, we're just doing it. Now, I have a feeling I made my eyes a little too big, but you will see how we will fix that later. So I'll make a mental note that the eyes might be a little big, Andrew. I'm like, okay. Okay, so I can even take the back of this, kind of scrub it out. And yeah, this is all totally dry already, so I can rest my hand on that, no problem. Okay. Kind of shave these down a little bit. All right, enough of that. So, see how we got our owl coming along? Man, this is looking great. Okay. So, here's the other thing we've got to mark out. So he's got these kind of two C-shaped things that go right here and right here. And these are kind of like lighter colors for that, for his feathers. So we're just gonna kind of draw this little like fat C. And then, okay, and kind of what I'm trying to do is make my own coloring book right now. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it, is I'm just getting these lines in here, and then I can start filling them in later. Okay? So that's looking good. This is gonna come up right here. Ready? Alright, alright. I like that face a lot, okay? So he's gonna have a dark spot underneath his beak. Right there. And at any point, you go ahead and pause this if you want to try and catch up. If you're falling behind, got stuck on some, just hit pause. No big deal. Okay? So, I think we got our face pretty much done. Okay? Now we're gonna move down to the rest of his body. So, we've got kind of this triangle shape that's gonna go right here. It's kind of a curvy triangle where it's gonna start here and go, come up to about there, and then go right there. So say we made this curvy triangle. Make that curvy triangle because all the feathers here are gonna go this direction, okay? They're kind of these choppy lines in there, okay? Then these, we're gonna take that dot right there, and these are gonna be his wings, okay? So let's bring it down here so that it's gonna come like this. I'm just looking at my reference picture here. And then we're gonna come across, go across, down, okay? Not super worried about this because these feathers are just gonna kind of go like this. Okay, just sketching it out. I'm reloading my brush every once in a while whenever I need to. You can see whenever it gets all like choppy, and you can see I'm running out of paint. So I just go and refill after that. Okay, so we've got our curvy triangle, we've got our back feathers. This is kind of like just some chest feathers, and then these are gonna be his belly feathers. And his belly feathers are gonna have more vertical lines on them. More up and down lines. Maybe like that. Okay. And I'm going to kind of just define his edges a little more. See how my paint's getting blurry? I can just mix in some water, grab some more paint, and then my brush won't be so blurry. Okay. It's not too exact, but I think we're gonna be fine. Okay. So you might be wondering why I started out with this burnt sienna on the bottom, and that is because as we're painting this, sometimes our paint is gonna have little spots that show through, and it's good to have a nice warm color underneath, and that's gonna make it so that whatever gaps in our paint, there's gonna be a warm color that shines through. It's gonna help them look alive when we're done, okay? So, really like that. I don't know, I feel like we could potentially say we're done with step one. We're done for today. We'll come back tomorrow and start working on the eyes first, and we'll start painting his body in, making all these nice feathers. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Be back tomorrow. We'll keep working on this. This is gonna be a masterpiece. Send me what you got, whatever you're working on. You can email me, message me on Facebook, and I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have about this as you're working on it. So, till next time, we'll see ya.